This is the Todd Shapiro Show on Canada Talks, SiriusXM 167.
New year, new guests. Well, stupid segue. Chris Siddiqi. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Happy New Year, new
How are you,
guests.
dude? How are you,
Come
dude?
on, that was a great segue.
New
man.
year, new guests.
There you go.
I haven't had you on the show for 2 years.
I know. No, you know what? I look back. It was only sometime last June or something.
Oh, it was last June?
I
Well,
think
you
so.
screwed that up.
I was going by our official website, which I guess rounds up after
Because I was like, when's the last time Chris was on? But you were on the old channel, not this channel. Were you on the channel? Because we can't swear on this channel. Have you been on this channel?
Oh, I don't know.
See, I think you're on the old channel.
When we were just swearing up a storm.
That's all we did. No one cared. We just swore to each
Todd
other.
Shapiro's swear storm. I was on that show, yeah.
It was like the whole, we just got mad at each other for no reason. Like, F you, no F you stupid C. Oh, man. So what's going on? How's life?
I think life is great, dude.
Yeah.
It's a new year.
Yeah.
New guests.
New decade. Does that
New
care? Do you
decade?
care about that decade?
No, not at
Yeah, I
all,
don't
man.
care.
Not at all. But it's 100 years since the 1920s, right? So we're 100 years past the Great Depression.
That's a good way to look at it.
Guess? I don't know.
That's nice. My grandma's 99. It makes me think of that stuff.
Wow,
Isn't that
really?
crazy? She's 100 in like a month or so.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Hope she makes it.
She will.
Yeah.
With all the medical marijuana going on now, she'll just smoke herself to like 150.
You know, if she gets sick, like about 3 weeks, like is it maybe about to go?
Yeah.
I'm giving her gummies. I don't care.
Yeah, just slip it to her. Although when you're 99, I guess you got to be like, you got to be good with the idea of going. You got to be like, I can go anytime. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. She's a fighter though, man. She escaped the Holocaust.
Yeah.
So she's like,
Wow.
she had family who died in it.
Amazing.
So she's like, they never, like people have been through tragedy, man.
Yeah.
They don't want to die.
Do you ever talk to her and be like, what do you think now? Like, what do you think of all of us now, Nana? And she go, you're all terrible. The stuff that I went through, you children.
You pussies.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you, actually, very honestly, I regret not doing that more with her.
Yeah.
And now she's probably not in the state of mind to do so now,
Fair
or
enough.
have that conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
But she ironically, she's German, so she's very tough, a German Jew.
Yeah.
And the reason why they got out is because her friends, like they were friends with Nazis who were like, you need to leave tomorrow.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
will
You need to
die.
get out.
Yeah, basically.
Wow.
Oh, dude, my grandma, she had lesbian like sex with guards to get through, like stiffed guards. Like she was a beautiful young lady. So that saved her life. Oh,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Huh.
Crazy stuff. And she would, I think she'd be really, really upset with like a society that's like a cancel culture and weak, in my opinion,
Right.
and
Fair enough.
expect hand-me-outs. I saw a great quote the other day, Chris. Maybe you can comment on it.
All right.
And, you know, there's a famous saying by John F. Kennedy. It's like, don't ask, what is it? Ask what you, oh, geez, let me find it.
That's what you can do for your country and
Yeah.
not what your country can do for
do
you.
for you.
Right.
And now it's ask what your country can do for you, not what you can do for your country.
Right, right.
And, which is interesting. And it made me think. And I thought that was a great quote because I feel that is kind of the case. People are like asking what the country can do for them first before what they can do for their country. And
Yeah.
it wasn't like that when I grew up. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm so far removed from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
You're just having fun telling
just
jokes.
having fun, man. But it's also that's a very nuanced thing too. Like that's a broad statement to a very gray area.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
I think that's
So,
fair.
I just like to sit on my own. And if I pipe up too much, then too many people are going to come after me. So part of me is like, let me just hide in my hovel and have my medical marijuana.
But you got a 10-year-old. Like, are you?
I got a 10-year-old.
You reminded me, you got to work for things though.
Yes, absolutely. You know, that's true. He spends so much time now on the internet that I'm like, I have to really like support interests in this kid. Or else he's just gonna sit there and look at a screen, you know? He wants to be a YouTuber when he grows up.
Listen, for 2 years he could have a lot of success.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's what they want to be. Kids want to be
That's what they wanna
YouTubers.
be.
It's crazy, isn't it?
That's all they want to do. They want to watch it. And
Like, would
no,
your
I
kid-
shouldn't say all
yeah.
of them. Not all of them, but
No,
my
they
kid-
do. All of them. Every one of them. Does your 10-year-old boy or girl?
Boy,
Boy. His name, Chris?
Sebastian.
Sebastian Siddiqi.
That's right.
I'm saying your last name right?
Yeah, totally.
I always ask that. I like that name, Sebastian. Strong name. Me too. Sebastian wants to be a YouTuber. Would he have even known what the Golden Globes were last night?
Not at all.
No, see, and at 10, I think I would have known what award shows were.
I guess so, but I also think that was the only thing on when we were kids to watch. You know, it was dictated what we could watch, but now you can watch anything.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like in the day, how old are you?
I'm going to be 40 this year.
Hey, big,
man,
wow. Good for you.
Thank you.
But you're right. Like you're so right. We had only a few things to watch.
Yeah.
And we also only ever had maybe 30 to 50 people we ever knew.
Yeah.
Like you didn't know any, maybe even only 20.
And even when we had on TV, we only had maybe 30 to 40 channels. You know what I mean? Remember when you were a
that's
kid
a lot, I think.
Yeah, totally. At the time,
You remember the box with the wire, the long wire that you'd have to bring over? And
that you had to click to like UHF and then remember that?
That's hilarious.
But
dude.
now everybody has a show.
Yeah.
Everybody legit has a show.
Yeah, everyone.
On YouTube.
Yep.
So my kid just watches. You know, it started as a thing a few years ago, but now it's like when you just watch people playing video games. He just does that, or watches just a video game all the way through. Doesn't play it. Doesn't, he's just watching. It's like passive passivity. You know what I mean?
So interesting.
It's very interesting.
It is the simulation. I don't know. There's something that yeah. I don't know. I'll tell you one quick story, Lou. And I know the interview's about you. We'll talk about your web series here on CBC. Gem and Gem. Gem to me is more, by the way, because I don't have cable.
Yeah.
Anymore. And that's weird for me because I've always had cable until this year.
Yeah.
And I don't even have a TV in our new home in Toronto.
Oh, okay.
In the cottage, we put all the TVs there.
Oh, okay.
So, but I've done a lot.
Real bougie.
Yeah. I'm fancy. I'm very fancy. I'm usually very drunk at the cottage.
Fair enough.
So I don't even watch the TVs. But my point being is I've spent a lot more time on apps on the smart TV. So in a way, they're TV now. Like it's funny. It's just TV. It's all TV. But what I was getting at, I was going to tell you a quick story is back to the YouTubers. This is name dropping. I was dining with a very respected, important CEO. I won't say who in Canada.
Okay.
With like $1 billion market cap company.
Oh, wow.
Big time.
Are they a dragon? By any chance?
He was not a dragon. No, probably could be a dragon.
Okay.
Probably could buy all the dragons.
Oh, he's that big of a dragon.
He's a big ass dragon, and he had a kid. He has two kids, and one of them we were talking about YouTube, and she mentioned her favorite YouTube star, this lady Azzyland.
Yes.
Azzy. You've heard of Azzy?
Yeah, my son watches Azzyland.
So what a lot of people don't realize is legitimately we helped launch Azzyland's career.
Right.
She won we used to do a thing on the old channel where you could swear and talk about boobies and things.
Right.
She won the first ever Miss Todd Shapiro Show Halloween pageant or whatever we did. And then she met a buddy of mine, Michael McCrudden, who was our interning for us, and he helped grow her to stardom.
That's great.
Which is cute. So when I talked about, I know this Azzyland, the 7-year-old girl literally lost her mind. I said I could probably FaceTime her. And so we did. We FaceTimed, and sure enough, she picked up, and Azzy was so professional and wonderful. And, and said all this stuff. And, I thought about that the ability, back to when we were young.
Right.
Like, imagine if we went to someone's house and someone said, "Oh yeah, we know, I don't know, like who's a popular actor at the time, like one of the most popular, like
Michael J. Fox."
Yeah, right, and said, "Yeah," but it's funny you say that because it's Back to the Future stuff, like,
right.
But they wouldn't even have the ability. You'd phone and maybe hear a voice, but like you could see them and connect with them, and it's really unreal on where a celebrity can come from. And B, in a way, the access you can have to celebrity now, too, is completely different.
I think the other thing, too, it just extends the landscape of entertainment. I started watching Azzyland with my son, and I was like, this young lady is hilarious.
She's fun, right? Yeah,
and she would never have a show otherwise. You know what I mean? So they're going to give it to some old other fart who's just going to have some show. But she gets to make her own show, find her own audience. So as much as there's the weird, questionable side about the internet, there's also this sort of lovely embrace of like, now we get to hear kind of everybody. We don't have to have just a selected choice of channels and shows to watch.
Yeah,
you have every show to watch.
And much like Sebastian, with proper guidance, and you're from the media industry, putting something creative together can find an audience. And granted, there's a lot of people doing it. It's not, but there's a lot of people trying to make it in mainstream media too. So why not give it all a shot?
Yeah, right.
That's
totally,
cool.
Man.
That's really cool that there's interest. And I think about my little guy already, and what path you put them in and where you'd want them to do and see them and succeed. And he's driving Uber though right now
Oh, great.
We got him driving Uber.
Right on already, eh?
Uber Big Will. He's doing okay. He's doing all right.
He got 4 stars, 5 stars?
Yeah, no, he's got 2
rating?
stars.
2 stars. Okay,
He's a bit of an ass.
He's got to work up to it. Yeah, fair enough.
The odd time he'll piss himself. That doesn't help.
Yeah, that's all right. though.
And
I've had that same thing with a regular Uber. So.
The regular Uber drivers.
Man.
They're always
It's just the usual thing.
It's pretty normal.
I've come to expect it with Uber. That's what it is.
I can't stand the Uber drivers. They're always stopping without putting on their hazards. It's like one thing. Just put on your hazard. Because a cab, you kind of expecting to pull over at any point.
Right.
The guy in the Mazda whatever in front of you don't really know if they're just going to stop.
I know. I'm too busy looking out for their tiny license plate number and the 100 letters on the license plate, and I can't read anyway.
These guys. I know. So tell us, dude. You're Chris Siddiqi is here. You're in a new comedy series called Playas.
Yes.
Tell me about Playas.
Okay, so Playas is a show with myself and my dear friend Nigel Downer.
Downer's
who I wish
fun
was
guy.
Here.
Yeah.
He's a very cultured gentleman, though. So he's in Italy right now.
Ooh.
He always goes away
Fine
for
wine?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
So he's seeing all those beautiful, dilapidated old Italian structures. But the show is Nigel and I. We play 2 best friends. And I always kind of pitch it as like it's a cross between Broad City and Scott Pilgrim versus the World. So it's 2 best friends living in a big city, trying to get by, and it's just filled with nerd references. We're a black guy and a brown guy, and we play stereotypes. No, that's not true. We play ourselves trying to get over stereotypes. So Nigel's character is an actor, and he's trying to get into the game, get deeper, but he just keeps getting all these stereotypical roles for thug number 4 or black best friend and
token roles they call them, right?
Roles,
Yeah,
that's it. Bit player roles.
The
There
bit
you
players.
go,
Okay,
right? And I'm his lazy stoner friend that says, "Oh, acting is really easy and dumb. I could do this." So I just jump in, and then we both have an audition for thug number 4.
Oh no.
So yeah, and then hilarity ensues. But the great thing is that we have 8 episodes, and each episode is very much based on something very nerdy to us. So one episode takes place in a comic book, and one episode takes place in a video game, and one episode takes place in a cinematic world where we could all have white privilege, what our lives would look like with white privilege. And so it was very fun to make and very amazing, and I miss my friend Nigel. I wish he was here to talk about it. But
sure. So when you call yourself a nerd, is that a term we can still use these days? Like without offending? Like are nerds, do they embrace that term?
Oh, yeah, I think absolutely.
I like that. I wish more people embrace who they were, because that's cool.
I think maybe when we were kids it was used as derogatory. Right?
You nerd. Yeah, well, there's a whole movie based on it.
That's right, yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds.
But then those guys, I mean, it's in the title, they got the revenge. I think there's something about popular culture now where it's not like nerd culture is popular culture now.
It's because, well, I mean, let's be honest.
Game of Thrones, like, come on.
They're because they're, how do I phrase this properly? There's more people who are just really into their own average daily fun stuff than those pedestal Hollywood actor types that you thought were, or the football guys, or this, I
think that's what I go to. It's the football guys.
The football guy, like that, but they were really like that was like the perception of what you thought everyone had to be. But in reality, like you said, there's just sort of the rest of us who kind of different passions and interests and likes and loves and because they weren't the cool guy stuff, you're a nerd.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Again, in the 70s and 80s, all that Dungeons and Dragons video game stuff was, leave it to the nerds, man. But even the football guys love. I mean, look at how huge nerds, there's tons of huge nerds that are professional athletes.
Yeah, I mean,
That culture is just huge. It's like fantasy and sci-fi and video game and all that stuff. Like, look at Marvel movies and DC movies.
dude,
Like,
look at
they are
those
the
Comic
top-
Cons. Those are some of the most
Huge.
people. I don't even.
Huge.
I always think of old people, right? Like old like white dudes going like, "Oh, there's a Comic Con in town." Oh,
Yeah.
do you realize
Yeah.
how popular that Comic Con is? Like
It is-
lineups.
One of our episodes takes place at the Comic Con.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, right. So this is our thing. This is my big thing too. Is like there's just a huge swell of black and brown and Asian folk now in popular media getting their own shows. And I thought, what is the one thing that we never really see? It's stereotyped a lot. You know, we see it in the Big Bang Theories, just the brown nerd.
Oh,
and-
interesting.
But it's never normalized, and I want to kind of normalize it, right? Because Nigel and I, we came up through the Second City together, and we were both, you know, he was the black dude in the cast of People, and I was the brown dude in the cast of People, and you would think that we kind of that was our point of connection, but our point of connection was passing video game soundtracks back and forth to each other.
What's a good soundtrack on a video
Like,
game?
oh man, like the Assassin's Creed
Is that good?
soundtracks are
Yeah.
fantastic. The Last of Us soundtrack, that's amazing. But this is what we do. We pass video game soundtracks. So I was like, we're nerds first and foremost, Nigel and I. So I was like, I want to make a show that really showcases that. It's just a black dude and a brown dude.
Yeah.
But we're nerds before anything.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
That's
man.
so bit player. So you go to CBC Gem, you get the app, and can you binge it?
That's it. You could totally binge it. That's what everybody's doing. It's super binge worthy. It's like 9 to 12 minute long episodes. There's 8 of them. Go to CBC Gem. CBC Gem has been around for like 2 years now.
Yeah, it's
I found
really
out.
catching on.
It's really catching
It's
on.
really
It's
catching
filled
on.
with tons of great stuff, all for free.
Yeah, no, like I said, I mean that's one of my go-tos because you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah. So
and-
tax dollars at work.
It's
man.
and it's finally something good coming at them. But no, and to be honest, there's not. It is a difficult landscape for sort of those in media in Canada, especially comedy.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. And CBC's been great at least helping, and the CBC Gem is
100%.
helping as much as they can, which is nice.
Yeah. Canada is a small market, so you don't have a lot of doors to go knocking on when you want to make a TV show, right? But
Yeah, and you know they'd rather syndicate the stuff that's already getting the big
sometimes
names.
that's it. Yeah, right. And you throw a lot of your attention on those shows that always have big numbers. But it's nice to see finally we've gotten to the point as a country where we're realizing like we have a talent pool that is deep, very deep. So the more that we fund all our the amazing comedians and actors in this country, just the variety of stuff that we can put out, like we were talking earlier, it's having the internet and having these web series is fantastic because we don't have to just kind of pile on a lot on a small plate. We can now kind of parcel it out and go, let's make a lot of stuff, a lot of the little things, and really give voice to those people who have been trying for a while but can't necessarily always make it to a big national TV show or whatever. So
Yeah, and again, man, like I think you talked about your 10-year-old earlier, and a younger generation doesn't have that stereotype of what a TV show or what a web show is. Like, if
100%.
anything, they think the TV show's the archaic one.
that's it. Yeah.
So it's funny our perception of it, and because I've gone away from cable now, to me this is my source of entertainment. Like,
Yeah,
so
me
this is
too.
TV. This is, even last night I didn't watch the Golden Globes, but I sure as hell watched Ricky Gervais on Twitter do the clip.
Yeah, man.
Which I loved, by the way. I
Right,
don't know.
yeah.
I don't know if you got a good laugh from that.
There were some things.
A little
yeah.
too much, a little too. You're a soft. You're a nice guy. Look at you,
I'm a
Chris.
nice guy. But you know what? I
Yeah.
like Ricky Gervais sometimes, I think.
You know what's funny? I don't normally like Ricky Gervais.
No?
And what I liked
do I,
about
really.
him was that I don't. I've never been a fan of his.
Yeah.
It's the truth. But I respected him immensely for doing that in that situation because I love people who call it hypocrisies.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what I think of you. If you're
Right.
being real, then I respect you.
Sure.
And I really
Absolutely.
respect, because the stuff when we went after Tim Cook and Apple, like that's some
Yeah.
real stuff, dude.
Yeah,
That's like
man.
look over your shoulder for the rest of your life stuff,
It is kind of those things that you just, I think, and we've all wished, like, man, why won't these people just be up front with each other? Someone needs to punch these people in the face with some truth sometimes. So, again, you're right. I mean, I'm not always a fan of this guy. I'm not always the biggest fan, but there are times when, and he doesn't always do it, there are other celebrities and comedians that do it really well as well. But Yeah, there are those moments where you're calling out the truth and you're like, yeah, give Tim Cook from Apple his comeuppance.
You
or
know,
whatever. Who's the guy? Jeff Bezos or
Yeah,
Bezos or whatever.
he's one of the worst ones.
Rich dudes.
Although super rich dude, Jeff's the richest guy in the world. Although they, and then you hear little things like, because I'm for billionaires. A lot of people aren't.
Really?
Yeah, I am.
Why? What do you think benefits the society from billions?
Oh, I want to do it. Do you know Peter Anthony?
Yes.
Okay, so Peter and I are actually he's trying to help me get on CBC and do a debaters episode about this.
Okay.
And because I'm capitalistic, and that's the truth about me. I am. If there's one thing that Todd Shapiro is first and foremost, it's
capitalism.
No, it is. It's like I'm a family guy, and then I'm capitalistic.
Yeah,
I really am.
Okay.
I'm less about helping others than I am about helping myself and those around me.
Right.
And that's just who I am. I'm sorry to say. I'm empathetic to people's needs.
Sure.
But I also understand how hard I've worked in my life without a dime given to me.
Right.
Which is why I think more people should be like that, because the rewards of it, of success through hard work, are so much more gratifying than anything that's given to people.
Right.
But my point being with there is, if we really want to get into this, there's a lot of wonderful charitable aspects to billionaires that aren't highlighted enough. And actually, inside Bill Gates' mind or brain or whatever it is, that little series right now on Netflix,
yes,
is a good highlight of what he is trying to truly do with his resources and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to give back and help things from waste to sewage to what
That's fine. I feel that he's kind of like the anomaly in all of the billionaires. He's the one that it seems like he's a bit.
There is a billionaire's pledge though
to
give 90% of their wealth back before they die within charitable organizations. So a lot, there's called the Billionaire's Pledge. Right. Zuckerberg's a part of it. All these guys. Bezos is not a part of it. He's not the Amazon founder.
Okay.
So
he's
Chris
in his floating castle in the sky.
Yeah. He is.
Like, I'm keeping my money. Like that.
Dude, it's insane.
Yeah.
To the point where when he separated from or divorced his wife.
Right.
The first thing she did when she got half of his money, which still made him the richest man in the world.
Right.
She agreed to be a part of the Billionaire's Pledge like the next day.
That's nuts.
Beautiful, right? Like, to think that she could do it and he wouldn't. But then I just read over the holidays, back to my defense of billionaires, is he just set up a homeless shelter in Amazon in Seattle. His mission is to help out the homeless. And that will house literally thousands of homeless people within Amazon.
All right.
So basically the employees that he pays a little to.
Yeah, really. He's considering them homeless.
Yeah.
He's just saying, stay in your house that I now pay for and do my work. That's what he's saying.
He's owning you.
That's it, man.
This guy's got a plan.
Yeah. My thing is there's a big jump between being a millionaire and a billionaire.
It's you know what it is? It's $999 million.
How nuts is that? How nuts is that, man? That's a huge jump.
It's a lot of money.
You don't need that much. That's, I think what I'm against is the gluttonousness of money.
Yeah.
I just want.
But let me ask you a question, Chris. Right. I ask everyone this question, and this is what I would pose to anyone if I ever got a CBC Debaters episode. Is can you truly, and I mean this sincerely.
Okay.
Chris Siddiqi is with us. Make sure you go to CBC Gem doing the radio stuff. Check out Playas. Season 1 is out. Came out on December 26th. Really funny stuff about, the play, the token roles that the nerds get. And then you're going to have a lot of fun laughing through it in different great situations. But can you truly predict, and I mean this, how you would be, say, for instance, there's that big lotto for $70 million, okay? If you won that tomorrow, so now you're worth $70 million.
Okay.
And say you put $10 million down on an investment.
Yeah.
And for some reason that made you another 100. So call it you're worth a couple hundred.
Right.
So in a year or two, you're worth for no reason other than winning a lottery.
Right.
And making it one good buddy's like, I got a great idea. You're like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
Because what's 10 mil?
Right.
200 mil. Can anyone really predict how they would be with that money? Like, would we be as empathetic and as altruistic and as giving as we think we might be, or would we hoard it and then look at the taxes and look at the family hand-me-outs and look at the fact that we got to pay for our buddies everywhere we go now and our kid?
I think depending on the point in your life when you get that money,
yeah,
like let's say you were born into that. That's all you know. So you're just like, I'm a millionaire. It's like that HBO show Succession. You know what I mean? You're just born into a bed of money. If you're our age and you get that, I would say to myself, yes, I know myself well enough that I would go, you know what? There's too much money. That's too much heat, man. That much money on you? That's $200 million?
I'll be honest. And I don't know you as well as I know myself.
Yeah.
I don't think any human, though, can put themselves in a situation to say how they would act once they had that kind of money, because there's an element now of temptation and access.
I can't even comprehend that number.
But imagine, like, you go and buy your first Ferrari and then you go and eat at the nicest restaurant. And because human nature is at any level, in my opinion, that you always want something a little better no matter where you're at. You're always kind of struggling to get, like, listen, I'm not saying this in any elitist sort of way whatsoever, but when I was in college, like, it started off with like, oh, I went for a nice coffee. Okay, what's a better coffee?
Right.
There's a new cool restaurant. Okay, I'll save up this week, try it. And there's like, well, there's a new one in 2 weeks. I want to try that too. Or still buying a nice bottle of booze that went up from one to the other. So does that ever change at any sort of...
I don't know.
Right?
That's case by case. How well off do you feel? How satisfied are you by certain things where you can go, okay, I know my limitations?
Well, and I think that's a lot of it is where does your true happiness lie?
Yeah, there you go.
And I'm not really truly happy because I want more things.
Fair enough. Okay, so my happiness would be get that money and then to give it away to see other people happy.
I got to follow you around this year.
Selfish. God,
I need your help. You need you need a gem series of like helping a-holes.
Yeah. Maybe I should just have a gem series where I'm just helping billionaires give their money away.
Dude, that's a great series. I want to be a part of that. I'll find the billionaires. I got the connection.
Imagine someone having a bunch of billions of dollars and going, hey, Todd, here's $1 billion. Just for being a good guy. And that'd be nothing to them. That's like reaching inside of their pocket and just throwing you a bunch of quarters.
Yeah.
They're not going to lose that. They'll make $1 billion in a week.
But see, this is back to my analogy. This is what I want to go. How many people walk by a homeless person and actually give them $1 that doesn't mean anything to them, or $2? You might. I don't know if I do all the time.
No.
So it's interesting. Like, that's what I mean about perception of humans.
Fair enough.
Because, if we were to prorate this, I don't know if I give back enough. I just like to ponder this stuff.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, hey, watch my show. There it is.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back to my show and the perception that humans put upon black folk and brown folk and the perception that we have to fight against every day, man.
Well, I hope that the fight isn't one from a place that there's too many a-holes in this world.
No.
And that it because you're just a good dude, man, who's very talented and a lot of fun, and we always appreciate your visits here.
Thanks for
having me. And I hope you come back.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for having me.
Just come back and hang out. You're one of those guys I like to talk to.
All right, cool. I live up the street, so...
Chris Siddiqi, everybody, and please go and check out the web series Playas, Playas, for those that don't know the word Playas.
It's not the white word. It's the cool way to spell
the cool way, even though it's a bunch of nerds doing it. And we're looking forward to seeing it with Nigel Downer. I'm going to check it out as well. Yes. And follow, please, at Siddiq's Siddiqs. Thank you so much, my man. Happy New Year to you.
You too, brother.
This is the Todd Shapiro Show on Canada Talks, SiriusXM 167.